Where's Albert? How are you doing?
Calum, 17 unbeaten, 6 draws on the trot. Your thoughts on the game?
Followed a pattern that has developed in too many of our home games. Ultimately, you've got to dominate in some area, and for us, we've had 4 or 5 really good chances over the course of the game, and have taken one of them. If you're going to be that wasteful in front of goal, we can't concede the type of goal we've conceded. And it's a theme. The Gloucester game was the same. Telford game was the same. Curzon game was the same. Where ultimately we having good ball, starting games quite well, blowing up after half an hour when it hasn't gone to plan in terms of having a reward, giving teams a head start, and the game becomes a desperate chase. Looks like it's fizzling out and a late goal. So yeah, there's clearly a problem with our home games, our home performances, and certainly our home results. So I've plenty of times come here and talked about an unbeaten run and character, and yeah, that still all applies. But we've got 6 points from the last 6 games. There is an expectation and a pressure that I'm well aware of, largely because of what we've created, because it wasn't there in August. It is on the back of a really good run, November, December, to put the football club that was 16th last season in a fantastic position, where I believe we're 1 point away from equaling last season's points tally, with 18 or so games to go. But we've created that expectation, we've created that bit of pressure about where we should be finishing the season. We need to do everything we can to make sure we follow it through. That starts with me.
I don't suppose it's disingenuous to say they're a Route 1 side, and did they play the way you expected them to?
Yeah, they are. They've got, so Matt Reid starts, Tom Denton normally comes on, or they do it the other way around. That is what they are. What we tried to do was defend that by having long spells of possession. We struggle with that at home. You can see why. You can feel that by me. You can feel that it becomes a difficult atmosphere to be in. But that is a way of, if you go direct and you lose first contact against a team like Alfreton, it becomes a war in the middle of the pitch that they will win, and they get the ball onto the top line, they get runners off. So you have to manage that. We did generally really well, but the goal we concede gives them a head start in the game. But at the same time, we've got to look at the things we do okay at home in passages of the game, but let's not pretend our home performances are what a playoff team is. Is that what we are now? A team that are associated of we should be in the playoffs. Okay, that's where we're at. We've got to do everything we can to maintain that position that the players have worked very hard to put us in.
You're in a good position, there's no doubt about that. Results, 6 points from, 18 now, the last 18 as such. But I mean, it's not as if you're playing badly. You're not playing badly as such, but it's just not happening, is it?
Some people would tell you we're playing badly. I'll
tell you if I think you're playing badly, and you're not.
I have to look objectively, and you do, and you don't really do that within 20 minutes of the full-time whistle. You try and do that over the days and reflect a little bit more calmly, because it's an emotional game, and you feel that. I probably feel that as much as anyone that's been in the position that I'm in has gone before. Some things are working for us, some things aren't. For me, there's got to be a ruthlessness in front of goal, because I look at the last 2 home performances, and we've created chances, and we've lacked what we would call technical intensity in them key moments. But in the same way, we're no longer keeping clean sheets the way we were earlier in the season, and we cannot keep constantly chasing goals in games. I took the role in May knowing that it wasn't a magic wand and everything's changed and the crowds will go up and Chester will go back to where people historically think they are. I took this job to work and to understand what it takes to build something and get us where I believe we can be. Won't happen overnight. I've talked a lot about unity, togetherness. It was easy to be like that in November. It was easy to be like that after 6 games on the bounce and everyone's all smiles week in, week out. These are the moments where everyone, starting from me, have got to show what they can contribute to a successful season, and that is what we'll continue to do. I am well aware that performances at home aren't what meets the expectation of what we've created. Absolutely. We need to manage that, we need to learn. It's clearly difficult for us. You can see the players completely zero confidence when we go behind at home. My job is to try and instill that. Sounds really easy, that, doesn't it? And I've got to find a way to do that. So really calmly, with real focus, I'll embrace every little bit of the challenge good, bad or ugly, because that's what I'm here to do.
Did you get the orchestration from midfield tonight? I mean, chances came, admittedly, but did you get the proper orchestration from midfield to create more chances tonight?
They're really mobile in midfield, and ultimately we found it difficult to... The idea of going long tonight would have been absolutely ridiculous. So we had to try and find a way to move the ball through the thirds of the pitch, ultimately playing out from the back into those midfield areas. I don't think we were able to do that well enough. Thought it broke down too many times. When we did it very, very well. Look at the goal that we scored right at the end. It's a diagonal pass. My criticism tonight that we played in smaller areas of the pitch too many times. I don't think we switched the ball well enough. And credit to them, would you believe that the opposition wanted to win the game as well? I've said that a couple of times here, but we didn't switch the ball well enough. And then too many times it's easier to play centre half to goalkeeper to centre half, maybe to bounce one into midfield, but get it straight back without a look over the shoulder and attempt to play forwards. So getting the ball into forward areas, but guaranteeing him maintain possession. Again, when I'm standing here, it all sounds very, very easy. I don't think we did that well enough. When we did, particularly in that spell early in the first half, I thought we were excellent. But you've got to have something to show for it. And when a team are able to do what Alfreton can do, transfer the ball one end of the pitch to the other quite well, drop on the second ball, great finish for the goal, it becomes very difficult because all of a sudden you're chasing a game that 10 minutes earlier you might have felt in control of. We need to find a way to manage moments in games better here, to be honest, and manage these home games better. And that, look, they're not excuses. That is what we need to do. And whose responsibility is it to make that happen? That rests solely with me.
Is that partly tonight experience in their team where you didn't have that experience because of years, basically, in the Chester side? I mean, they're a younger group.
Yeah, we are going to be what we are. That is where we were at, and I talked at length about it in July, and I'll continue to say it in January. And we're in a fantastic position, a position that you can't just forget. Look, it feels very easy for me to forget it right now, on the back of a disappointing run of form, but we're the same team that we were when we won 6 on the bounce, and we now haven't won in 6, and I'm aware of it. I will never come here and stand and make excuses. I will reflect, I will analyse, I will look at both teams and look at the game, and I'll take responsibility. And I absolutely take responsibility. I'm completely aware about our home performances, and like I said, I'll embrace the challenge of turning that round, and it's really pleasing that we have a home game on Saturday where we can address that at the earliest opportunity.
I was just going to come on to that. Spennymoor, a team that are picking up results at the moment as well.
Yeah, it's about where you finish come the end of the season, and we don't get wrapped up. I did say this when we were winning. This isn't a soundbite because we aren't winning the games we might have wanted to in recent weeks. The league table isn't irrelevant until everyone's played 46 games. So the position we're in is brilliant. We have a point target we're chasing that we're moving towards too slowly. What I think is fantastic for the football club is that there is now an expectation, a demand, a real, I don't think belief's the word that I'm looking for, but it is expected that we finish in a playoff position. That's what's been created. It needs to be maintained, and the emphasis needs to be back on how hard we fought and the commitments we made to be in the position that we're in. We need to make sure we meet them for the remaining game of the season, because when you're in the position that we are, we don't want it to slip away. But it's difficult. You've got a group there that are low on confidence from them, won 6 games. You can feel that, trust me, I do. I'm well aware of the pressure and what it involves. You can see that in the moments where it goes against. Credit to the players for getting something out of the game. Credit them, absolutely. But we've been in that position too many times in recent weeks. We've got to look at why, and we've got to try and you're not turning it round because you're going in a forwards direction, but certainly not at the speed that we'd like to.
Calum, thanks for talking to us.
Cheers.